Welcome to episode 139, 5 Essential Stories for an Aviation Brand. I'm Paula Williams.
I'm John Williams.
And we are ABCI, and ABCI's mission is
to help everybody out there in the aviation world sell more products and services.
Absolutely. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the fall of Madison Avenue, right? A lot of folks have worked with advertising and marketing firms in the past and been absolutely mystified by the process, right? And there's a reason for that. There's a mystique about advertising and marketing. If you've watched the show Mad Men, where they do a lot of brainstorming, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and coming up with a lot of political stuff. They come up with ideas that they think are going to please the customer, not necessarily please the customer's customers, who are the people that they are supposed to be attracting and things like that. And there's also a lot of dishonesty involved with traditional marketing and advertising, or at least those are the things that are associated with it. People have a very low level of trust, right?
So it would seem. Oh yeah, it's just probably as a result of that.
Right. In fact, a lot of the folks that we talked to, the first time we talked to them, they begin with their stories about how they really don't like advertising, or they would really rather do without advertising. They would really rather do things just by word of mouth, but they see advertising as a necessary evil, and I blame this guy, right?
Well, or the ilk.
Right, the Don Drapers of the world, if we want to give you an archetype of someone whose job it is to impress clients with a bunch of smoke and mirrors and very fine wires, and often impress their customers with a lot of smoke and mirrors and very fine wires. And there has been a lot of shenanigans and distasteful dishonesty in advertising that paints the rest of us with a brush that we would rather not have anything to do with, right?
Yep.
Okay. When we started our company, this was actually a little while after that. This was 2011. So we hadn't been in business for very long, but I wrote this article in Forbes magazine, or Forbes online anyway, Forbes.com, about the highly evolved BS meter of the 21st century consumer, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of an evolution of this. Most aviation consumers are smarter than the average consumer of any other product or service. They're often very familiar with what they work with. They're very familiar with the industry. They're very familiar with the options. Smoke and mirrors and very fine wires don't work with them, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And this is an article that appeared recently in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, the 19th,
exactly.
3 or 4 days ago.
Well, by the time people listen to this, it'll be a couple weeks old.
Yeah, good point.
But the rise of do-it-yourself advertising. So rather than relying on the Don Drapers of the world, a lot of brands are bringing their advertising in-house so that they can tell their own stories, be more authentic, be more specific, and be more responsive to their customers' wants, needs, questions, desires, and so on. So today we're going to talk about brand content. Every aviation brand should have some content that they create themselves and or with a partner such as us that we can help you put together in a more polished way. But the information has to come from you.
Of course.
Every time we work with an aviation customer or any customer, we only work with aviation customers actually, we demand an hour of their time each month. And the reason is because you can't just throw things over the wall to us and have us create authentic, sincere, respectful materials for your customers, right? You have to be part of the process. Okay, so here are 5 pieces of content that we think every brand should create. One is the establishing shot. One is the buyer's guide. One is the origin story, the FAQ, and the welcome letter. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail about what each of these is and why you want one to start with. But each of these things can be done in more than one format. So you can write this, you can do it as a video, you can use this in direct mail pieces, you can use this in printed materials that you hand out at a trade show. There's lots of ways that you can use this information, but it's kind of in order. The first thing is the establishing shot. The second thing, as people progress through your sales cycle, would be the buyer's guide, then the origin story, then the FAQ, and then the welcome letter. Not always exactly in that order, but it's kind of a rule of thumb, right?
Yep.
Okay, so first of all, the establishing shot. We've talked about this before, and this is from Hawaii Five-0, right? Every episode of Hawaii Five-0 opens with a beautiful panorama of the Hawaiian Islands, which zooms in this case, on Diamond Head, which then would zoom in on the forest behind Diamond Head, which would zoom in on some bad guy doing some bad thing, right? Okay, so your establishing shot in your industry is kind of, here is what's going on in the world of aviation insurance, right? Here's the landscape. Here's the conditions. Here's what the weather's like. Here's what's going on. Here's, the legal situation and so on. And then you zoom in on, here's why you need to hire an aviation specialist in the aviation or in the insurance that you need. And then zoom in on, here's a particular problem that I'm really good at solving. And then zoom in on, here's my particular expertise and situation, so here's why you should hire me as opposed to any other aviation expert. So you start with the large pan, and then you zoom in to the specifics of, here's why it's important to hire me, right?
No different than how you answer a kid's question.
Exactly. Start with the
generalized and let them ask more.
Exactly. So this could be, as we talked about, this could be a blog article. This could be the introduction of a brochure or a leaflet or a book. This could be a video, someone interviewing you and, asking you these questions, starting with the general and moving to the more specific, right?
Yep.
Okay. So establishing shot, very important. Gives people an idea of, takes them from whatever they were thinking about before they showed up to see this episode on TV into, here's the situation that we're talking about right now. It captures their attention and brings them right where you want them, right?
Yes.
Okay. Second thing, buyer's guide. A lot of people have no clue how to buy the particular product or service that you offer. They don't even know what questions to ask, and they sure as heck don't want to look like an idiot, right?
Yeah, they want to look like they know what they're doing.
Exactly. So if you can give them a buyer's guide that says, here are the factors that you should be thinking about when buying a particular piece of safety equipment, or a preheater for your aircraft, or a service. I'm sorry?
A tug.
A tug.
Brakes, tires, landing gear.
Exactly. These are the things that you really should consider when you're looking at the options. Here's what the competitors offer. Here's what we offer. Here are the things that may or may not be important to you depending on your circumstances, and so on. So if you can help people out with that, you're going to get people who are more suited to your particular strengths, and you're going to weed out some people who are not, and if they go to your competitors and they're happier with that for a particular reason, that's no skin off your nose, because they wouldn't have been happy with you anyway, because your specialty is a little bit different. It really helps people zoom in and feel more comfortable buying your service, right?
True.
Okay. We got a really great checklist from CertaPro when we were having some painting done at our house that said, here are a lot of things that you want to consider before you hire a painter. And they said a lot of things about what's in the paint, a lot of things about licensing, a lot of things about insurance, a lot of things that I didn't know, because this isn't something that I do every day, right?
Sure.
So whatever it is that you sell, it's likely that the person who's buying doesn't know what they should be asking, and you can help them, right?
Mm-hmm. True.
Okay. Third thing, the origin story, right? So if you are a fan of Marvel cartoons, we're showing a mural of about, hundreds of Marvel characters. And if you are a fan of Marvel, you probably know 20, 30, 40, 50 origin stories, right? Of the people who are on this screen. And we've got Captain America and Thor and the Hulk and Iron Man and, all of
Wonder
those
Woman.
things. Yeah, exactly. So all of those people are famous for a reason. And the reason that they're famous is because of their superpowers. But almost as importantly to their fans is their origin story, which gives the reason for their superpowers and makes it a whole lot more convincing that they have these superpowers because it tells you how they got them, right? Okay. So you can tell the origin story of how you got your superpowers. Whatever those are, whatever the reasons are that your company is the best option for the customer, it probably has something to do with your origin story, with why you are in business, and some of the pivotal choices that have brought you to the place that you are now. So, as an example, with ABCI, we chose not to be Madison Avenue. We chose to specialize in aviation because we wanted to build that credibility in this industry. We chose not to focus on the superficial as much. We chose to focus on content because we know that that is specific to this industry, right? Okay. So origin story, also very important. FAQ. Now this goes into a little bit more detail than your buyer's guide, and this is further down in the sales process. So there's the questions that people should ask before they make a purchase, and then it comes down to the objections that they're likely to have once they get into the buying process and think, well, doesn't this seem kind of expensive? Or what if this happens? Or how do I solve this problem that might be posed by going with your solution as opposed to someone else's? So this is where you get a little bit more detailed and nitty-gritty into these are the objections that people have raised to our product or service, and this is the response to that.
Right.
Okay?
Helps out the sales guy.
Helps out the sales guy if he's got the FAQ. You can also put this on your website. You can make this a video, have this somebody interviewing your sales guy. Lots of things that you can do here to make that more obvious, clear, and compelling.
True.
Okay? Last one is the welcome letter. And this is one that not very many people do, but they should. And that is the congratulations, you just made a fabulous decision because letter, right? And also the here's what you do next to make sure that they are going to be really successful and really happy that they purchased your product within the first 30 to 90 days, right?
Yes.
So here are the things that you should know. Here are some of the troubleshooting things that people may run into, and here's what to do about them. Here's who to call if you have questions or run into any issues. And here are some of the great outcomes that you should expect to see within 30 to 90 days and how to make that happen. Right?
You bet.
Okay. So, brand content, just to recap really quickly. You should have each of these things in your arsenal, and you should be using them in your sales process. So if you're a sales guy and you've got these in your briefcase or on your website so that you can send them as an email at the right time, or as a CD that you can send to your customer at the right time, however you want to deploy these arrows, these are the arrows, right? 1 is the establishing shot, 2 is the buyer's guide, 3 is the origin story, 4 is the FAQ, and 5 is the welcome letter, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
Nope. I think you did a good job.
More quickly and make these really powerful tools for your sales folks, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So if you'd like to talk about our content marketing, we're happy to do that. Sources for this month's episode are Doug Goldstrom at Special Services Corporation, for whom we have done a lot of great content with and about special services. Bené Wilson, Aviation Queen. Catherine Creedy, Communication Solutions. Jet Broker Jeremy of Jet Brokers. Shane Ballman of Synapse MX. Brian Chase, Chase Aviation. Larry Heinbaugh, Vlog, Robin Frey, Aerostar, Sherry Shepard, Avion Trace, Peg Mills, Turbines Incorporated, and Joni Lampert Schultz with Whirly Girls. Those are folks that we've talked to recently about content and who have inspired many of these ideas. Not all inclusive, and I'm sure we're leaving people out, and I apologize, but just the people we work with are really inspiring and fun to write about too. To write with.
Yep, we had limited time and slot for people. So.
Yeah, limited space on the slide. So, yeah, our folks are really, really inspiring, and we write really well together. So if you would like to talk with us about any of these 5 items and how to get that done, we'd be happy to talk with you. Pick the Let's Talk button on the lower left-hand corner of our website. Pick 30 minutes that's convenient for you, and let's talk about what you need done and how we can help.
Because we can.
Because we can. Have a great day. Or call 702-987-1679, and we will help you with that.
You guys have a great day. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks.